Hi guys, it's Aoife from Words of Clover and I am here to start a new reading vlog slash what will be kind of my first wrap up for February. So at the moment it is Monday, February the 1st, and I just wanted to start this vlog and kind of talk about what I'm going to be doing for my reading the first 2 weeks of February and kind of what I have planned to do, which I'm quite excited about. It's just another way of me reading the books on my physical TBR, on my physical shelves, and it's just something fun for me to kind of do the next 2 weeks. So what I want to do is basically I want to read the rainbow, which is just to choose different books that their covers match the colours of the rainbow. So at the end of the 2 weeks I should hopefully have a really lovely colourful stack of books that I've read to show you. So I'm really excited to kind of get on with that. I am currently reading Xeni by Rebekah Weatherspoon, which is a book that I've carried on from the end of January, but I'm about 60% through that and I think that I will definitely finish that at some point today or early tomorrow. And it is a really cute, steamy romance book that is kind of based around this arranged marriage between this girl called Xeni and this man called Mason. And Xeni is a black woman and Mason is a white Scotsman, so it is a biracial relationship. The two of them are bisexual as well. Mason is plus sized, so there is so much like amazing representation in this book. There's so much great communication between the two characters. They are very adult with what they have to do, but they also are like enjoying the time they have with each other, even though at the moment they're like, you know, it's not going to last forever, but they definitely are attracted to each other. Really enjoying how that story is playing out at the moment, and yeah, I think it's probably going to be a 4 or a 4.5 out of 5 stars. First book I want to pick up once I finish that for my rainbow readathon is going to be my red book, which is this. It looks a bit pinky on camera, but it's more red in real life. And this is the proof copy as well. I think it's the advanced reading copy. I got this from O'Brien Press in Ireland. This is called What Love Looks Like by Jarlath Gregory, and this is about a boy called Ben. And he is out, he is gay, and he's 17, he's just finished school. He's kind of looking at colleges and like what his next career steps will be once he's finished school. But he's also kind of some dealing with like relationship issues. The guy that he likes isn't out yet, and then his best friend seems to have gone missing or just like isn't around to help him out. So this is a very short book and I think it's one that I will fly through, and I'm definitely really looking forward to picking this up because it has been one like on my radar for a little while, and it definitely sounds a little bit like Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, but Irish, so that makes me really happy to try and see if this is going to be as good as that. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be reading today. I am just currently still at work. I'll be taking my lunch break now in a little bit. Haven't gone outside all weekend because it was raining all weekend, so haven't really done anything. That's what I'll be doing today, and hopefully I will get a little bit of this read at some point today, so I'm looking forward to that. Guys, it is Thursday morning, and so it is the 4th of February, and I am here with another giant mug of tea, which I'm very happy with. And I just wanted to do a quick reading update because I did finish actually on Tuesday evening. I basically started and finished What Love Looks Like by Jarlath Gregory. I had finished Xeni by Rebekah Weatherspoon. I gave that one a 4 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed it, really enjoyed the communication, the romance, the setup and that. And the steamy scenes as well were very good. And then I moved on to this one, which, as I said, is about a gay teenager in Dublin kind of navigating the world of what it is to be a gay man dating in Dublin. This is set in 2015, only a couple of months after the gay marriage legislation was passed in Ireland. So during that time as well, when people were like canvassing for that, there was a lot of people who like came out obviously as homophobic, who were against it, and there were a lot of like kind of nasty things said by different people about what would happen if like gasp shock horror gay people were allowed to get married. Like it was really horrible, and people definitely, there were many people who showed the worst sides of themselves and really kind of, I guess, showed the true versions of themselves when it came down to that vote, where a lot of other people showed the best versions of themselves. So this is kind of set around that climate at the time in Ireland, and the main character Ben is kind of dealing with that and dealing with the fact that he's had to kind of he's seen that over the past few months. But this was kind of a lovely mix between like The Snapper by Roddy Doyle mixed in with like bits and pieces of Love, Simon by Becky Albertalli. There was like this really nice kind of Dublin Irish feel to it. Ben grew up in kind of like almost a council estate in Cabra, like, which would be kind of, you know, not like a slightly rougher side of Dublin, like a little bit more. It's not like people aren't living in like big massive houses with like, you know, big hedges and gardens. Like, they're small houses, small communities, tight-knit communities, and people who help each other out. That is where he's been living. He's only 17, but he's like quite mature. I found him quite mature for his age, and as well the reading in this and like the topics in this will be mature. As I said, it does say for older readers at the back. It would definitely be for the older side of YA, 16, 17, 18. I have a few scenes to do with that are set in a couple of like really like well-known gay bars in Dublin, and drag shows and stuff that are held there, and one of Ben's friends is a drag queen, so he goes to those shows, and it's just a lot of fun. Also a trans character in this as well, so we see that trans character kind of transition and come out, and that was really nice. Though I feel like I would have loved to have there have been more time with that, because it was near the end, and I would have liked more time with the character and to have known that character as they kind of dealt with their transition. There is also a little bit of bullying in this, so there is some homophobic bullying and homophobic slurs are used. I did actually think that the amount of homophobic slurs that were used at different points in this book were a little bit much. I just feel like for teenagers and older teenagers who are reading this book, they could find those words quite triggering. So there was that, but at the same time I did really enjoy this book, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars overall. So I did enjoy it. It wasn't a perfect book by any means, but it was definitely a really nice book to see just a gay teenager in Ireland, you know, living his life, trying to find like love, which is like what most people would want to do. And yeah, so I do have a full written review of this as well, which I will leave linked down below. I always leave all my written reviews in the description box for anyone who ever does want to know if I have any more thoughts, because sometimes when you're writing things down, when you're saying them on video, you can miss things either way, so normally having both kind of is a more fully rounded review. And now I'm onto like yellow orange on the rainbow, and this, I mean, I could be slightly cheating with this book because I'm using it for both, because you see it's like it's kind of a sunrise. I would say this is more like a sunrise cover. So there is yellow and orange on this, so I'm using it for both. Is the next book that I am reading is Blind Beauty by K.M. Peyton. This is a book that I picked out from my latest TBR jar pick, but I also said when I picked this out of my TBR jar that this is actually one of my favourite books of all time. I read it like I think 2 or 3 times when I was younger, and I just adore this book so much, and it's been a long time since I've done a reread of it, so I'm very glad to be picking this up now for a reread. This is, as you can see, it's an epic horse story. We are following a young girl called Tessa, who's quite a troubled, we first meet her when she's 12, and she's kind of troubled. She kind of hates the world and the world hates her. She ends up at this kind of rundown farm slash stables, where she has to work. Her evil stepfather basically has told her that she has to work there for the summer. But when she was younger, she always knew she had like an affinity for horses, and being back at the stables now kind of reintroduces her to that and reminds her that how much she loves horses. And then she ends up meeting this horse called Buffoon, who she has a really intense connection with, who she loves with all of her heart, and basically she throws herself into caring for Buffoon. Buffoon loves her back, and she kind of gets into the world of horses and horse racing while also kind of dealing with her home life, and then also trying to keep Buffoon with her, because Buffoon obviously is a racehorse. He's not owned by her. You know, his future can't be determined by her as much as she loves him. So there's a lot of like ups and downs around this book. This book is definitely, even though the character is 12 years old, I would say it's actually a little bit mature, because we do follow her up until I think her late teens, early 20s, and there's definitely points like the start of this book, like she's been like thrown out of boarding school for smoking, and then she also like takes a couple of drinks here and there, and like she's 12 years old, so there is some like mature content in this. But like when I was reading it, I didn't really care about that. I cared about the horses. But yeah, I just love this. And at the moment, I think I mentioned it before, but like I haven't been horse riding since, I've been horse riding I think since like September, because obviously with COVID and stuff, we haven't been able to. So I'm really missing like my horse time. I normally would have like weekly time with horses and my horse riding lessons, and it's a really great source of joy in my life. So I've been really missing not being around horses, and this is kind of will is kind of my way of kind of bringing horses back into my life at the moment, as well as I have a few other books on my Kindle that are all horsey books that I need to read as well. But yeah, I really miss my horses, and this is kind of, you know, making up for it a little bit. Hi guys, it is Saturday, February the 6th, and I'm here with a reading update. So this morning I finished Blind Beauty by Peyton, which, as you guys know, was my pick for my orange colour, or my yellow and my orange colour, because it is both. I read most of this last night. I had a really lovely kind of cosy evening after we'd kind of finished our movie, and I went upstairs and cuddled into bed and read the majority of this, and I finished it off this morning. I just, like, this is always going to be a 5-star read for me. It was a 5-star read the first time I read it, before like I even knew what 5-star reads were, and every single time I read this it will be a 5-star read for me. It just has everything you want in like a really great horse story. It has angst, it has horse love, it has, you know, a lot of dramatic moments, but at the end of the day it comes down to the love between a girl and her horse. And as I said, this does definitely have some darker themes, and it is definitely a more kind of mature children's read, or a mature YA read, because we do start with the character of Tessa when she was 12, but then she swiftly ages up to about 15 or 16, and then by the end of the book she is 20. And there are some kind of darker themes around, like kind of her mother is in a bit of an abusive marriage and she's kind of dealing with that, and she doesn't have a great kind of home life because of her stepfather. And she's definitely a bit of a troubled child, and she's someone who keeps her emotions like in a way that probably isn't particularly healthy for her. And there are definitely some bits in this book that I think if it was a more modern read it would probably be more broadened out maybe, but for the time this was written, which is I think in like the 90s, and it's probably set around the 80s, it's like some of the, like, in terms of like the costs of horses and the costs of like entering horses into the Grand National and things like that, like, are so like cheap as chips compared to like what it would be now, and it's a little bit laughable at times. But I still just really enjoyed this one. The last scene like in this book, which is kind of the big race scene, which is one of the last major scenes in this book, is just written so well. You get like every moment of the race, all the emotions that Tessa is feeling in the race, and it's just it's really like kind of like an action shot. It's so great. You see every single angle of the race, and you really feel like you were there, and you feel like you were on the edge of your seat just waiting for like the finish. Even though I've read this before, I still felt all of that excitement and all of that kind of, I was so hooked onto the story until we knew who had won the race. This is just such a great book to read, like particularly if you are like a horse girl like me. I think if you just enjoy a really great story you would still enjoy it, but definitely it is more, you know, targeted towards people who love horses. 5 out of 5 star read. I absolutely loved it. I'm so glad I was able to reread it, and yeah, there's, as I said, nothing really beats the feeling of rereading a favourite book, which is kind of nice segue into my next read, which is for the colour green, and I'm reading Dear Reader by Cathy Rentzenbrink. And this is actually a non-fiction read that is really about the love a reader can have for her books, and it is Cathy kind of talking about the books that have shaped her life and some of her favourite books. I've only read the first chapter of this, like the prologue and the first chapter of this morning, and I already love it so much. I've underlined a few bits and pieces, which is something I very rarely do. I don't really underline things in my books, I don't annotate my books, but there was something about this one straight away. I was like, I want to underline some of these bits, so when I flash back at the end of either at the end of my read, or if I ever just flip through it again, I can see the bits that really struck out to me. And there's definitely some bits in this that are already like I completely identify with, and I just think so far it's already written in a really like nice way. Prologue of this, she's kind of talking about Rebekah by Daphne du Maurier, and then the first chapter, the opening line is, last night I dreamt I was back in Narnia, which is obviously a play on the first line in Rebekah, which is last night I dreamt I was back in Manderley, and I just thought that that was so clever. So yeah, I can't wait to read more of this today. I'm just going off to do like my big shop of the week now, and I am hoping we're supposed to have in like really cold, hopefully snowy weather in the next couple of weeks, or the next week or so. So I'm going to do a big shop just in case for whatever reason we can't make it to the shops next week. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. And then the rugby is on, I think in like an hour or something, so himself is going to be busy with that. So I don't know if I'll get some reading time done, or maybe I will do a video. I need to do my Irish readathon TBR, which will be out I think after this video, but only a few days after this video is out, I think. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing, so I'll get on with that. Hi guys, it is Sunday afternoon now. I did take part in one of the reading sprints that was hosted by Shannon over at 155 Books and Anna at Read to Me at Midnight. They do kind of cozy Sunday morning reading sprints almost every week, and the last couple of weeks I've joined in with them at 10 a.m. and it has just been so lovely, and it's such a great kind of way of reading in bed, but also kind of just chatting with other people. They kind of do like half-hour reading sprints and then a little bit of like 15 minutes or so of like chatting, and then kind of repeating that, and it's just been really lovely, and I've really enjoyed that the last few weeks. So that is what I was doing this morning, and I managed to read a little bit more of Dear Reader. I'm now 116 pages in. This is only about a 250 page book, so I should get another big chunk of this read tonight, hopefully. So that is what I have been doing. I was hoping that I would get some like filming done yesterday and today, just kind of pre-filming for the Irish Readathon, because that is what I want to do. I want to have kind of some stuff pre-filmed for that, but unfortunately that didn't happen yesterday. It just didn't happen. This wasn't one of those days. I went to bed early just because I was just feeling unwell, and then, well, not even that I was feeling unwell, I just, you know, sometimes you just don't want to do anything and you just kind of want to go to sleep and just not have to deal with anything. That's kind of what I was like last night, and that is what I did. And then I ended up getting my period, or the closest thing I get to a period, with the Implanon contraception that I'm on, which is a little bit of a nightmare sometimes. If anyone else is on that, I can commiserate with you, because it can just mess you around all sorts hormonally and with all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but that did explain why I was feeling kind of crappy last night. So yeah, so it was nice to be able to just kind of get back into a bit of a better mood this morning with those reading sprints. And it does feel like every single weekend the last few weeks, like something has gone wrong, or like something has happened, because earlier then we had like some sort of like leak in our sink and we had water all over the kitchen floor. So obviously then all my plans for filming today kind of went out the window because we've had to deal with that. So yeah, obviously reading wasn't really a thing after that because of everything going on. So at the moment I'm just catching up on some booktube. As always, my watch later list is insane, so I'm trying to catch up on that now, kind of just relax a little bit. And I don't know what we'll be doing later. Maybe we'll get a takeaway or something, just to because we can't really do that much washing up, because obviously we're not really doing anything with the sink. So the least washing up we can do is probably best for today for dinner, so maybe we'll just have to get a pizza. So I'm okay with that. Hi guys, so it is currently Tuesday, and I'm by my bookshelf because I've literally just filmed a review for Dear Reader, because I finished it last night, and before I even finished it I knew I wanted to do a full video review of it because I absolutely loved it, and that will be up before this vlog is up, so I will link it somewhere on the screen and below if people haven't picked that up, because obviously that has my full thoughts, which were originally going to be in this video, but I think it might be too long and rambling to also add into this. Absolutely loved this book. There were so many different parts of it that I underlined, that I resonate with. There were so many great book recommendations in this book as well that I said in my review that I think I'll definitely like pick this book up now and again and just take a book recommendation from it and read that book and see what I think of it, because I think that would be a really fun thing to do. So definitely glad I picked this book up for this rainbow challenge, and yeah, I absolutely love this book. It was just so lovely and I just loved it so much. 5 out of 5 stars. So my next colour is blue, and for blue I'm picking up The Deck of Omens by Christine Lynn Herman. This is actually a sequel. This is the second book in the Devouring Grey duology, I think it is, and I read The Devouring Grey back in October. I think it was another reading vlog I did where my boyfriend picked the book I was going to be reading, and he actually picked The Devouring Grey, and I loved that book. And this is basically the sequel to the events that happened at the end of that book. It is about this town called Four Paths. A little bit mystical and a little bit different, and this girl called Violet returns to this town. Her mother grew up in this town and then left when she was, I think, in her late teens or early 20s, and Violet returns to this town with her mother after the death of her sister. And when she gets into this town, she realises that the town is a little bit different to like how normal towns would work. There's like these 4 families who seem to be like these really important people in this town, and it's like the town kind of looks at them as almost like their leaders and their guardians in a way. And Violet's mother, and so Violet herself, they're actually one of these 4 families. As she discovers more, each of these 4 families actually have kind of magical powers, and Violet has to kind of start discovering what her power is and how she can use it, and how she can use it to actually save the people in this town from this monster that almost lives on this like other plane, which is actually what the families do. They protect the rest of the town from this monster that is like always trying to get out and to kill them. It's almost, if you think about the Upside Down in Stranger Things, it's a little bit similar to that. Just really enjoyed the drama and the mystery and the magic that was in the Devouring Grey, as well as some of like the romance and some of just, yeah, the entanglements there. And I'm really looking forward to reading more about it in the Deck of Omens. So I'll probably be picking this up tonight at some point. And the last time I read the Devouring Grey, I read it quite quickly. So I think that's what I'll be doing with this one as well. You can see there's lovely blue pages. The first one I think also has pink pages, I think, and this one has blue. So yeah, they're lovely, just like additions of the book as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to picking this up today and reading it. And we're back in the same place but a different day. So it is Saturday the 13th of February. And I just wanted to do an update because obviously this morning I finished a book and I'm trying to find the book I want. So I finished the Deck of Omens this morning, curled up in bed while it was very, very stormy outside, and I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I do think it was a really nice continuation on of the Devouring Grey. I really liked in this one that we kind of were mostly in the heads of 2 characters who we didn't see that much of, or we didn't see their thoughts as much in the Devouring Grey. The first book focuses on the characters of Violet, Justin and Harper a lot, where in this book we do still get them, but we also get a lot more inside the minds of Isaac and May, who are both kind of secretive and interesting in like their own ways, and it was really great to see more of them and who they were. I really liked as well kind of the history that went into kind of how they, I guess, delved into their history in this book, and they really delved into the history of the founders, how they got their powers and what their powers meant in connection to the forest and like the kind of dangerous place that exists on the other plane that is that is threatening the people of the town, how they can possibly fix that and what they have to do, and how they have to team together, kind of put all their differences aside and team together to try and basically save everyone. So yeah, I enjoyed how this went, as I said, and the last couple of chapters were definitely really, really gripping, as we were kind of, you know, it was really high intensity. I think it was paced really, really well, and yeah, I just really enjoyed pretty much all of it. It definitely took me a couple of days longer than I thought. I thought I would fly through it. I didn't really, but it was just a very busy week anyway. So yeah, wasn't really, I guess, putting that much time aside to read because I was just working a lot. It's been absolutely horrific outside, super duper like windy and stormy and rainy, and yeah, just have not been able to get outside properly for a walk. So hopefully I'll get to go out for one tomorrow. I'm going to try and prioritise that to at least try and get that done tomorrow, just even so I can listen to a little bit of my audiobook. My audiobook has been completely neglected, seeing as I haven't been able to go outside for walks, so I kind of missed that, so I'm going to have to try and do something about that. But obviously that means we are on to our last book. The last 2 like official colours of the rainbow are Indigo and Violet, and the thing is that they're both purpley colours. One is just slightly more purple than the other. I think it's Indigo has kind of like is almost like a purpley blue. One of the books I had for just general purple, and there are deeper shades of purple in this that would kind of almost be close to Indigo. So it's similar to Blind Beauty, where I used that for yellow and orange, I'm going to use this book for purple and indigo, so it suits for like the last 2 colours. And that book is obviously You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This is a book I've had on my shelves I think since last summer, and it's one that I've heard loads of great things about. It is a YA contemporary about this girl whose name is Liz, and basically her college plans are kind of scuppered when I think some sort of scholarship that she was depending on falls through, and then she realizes that if she wins prom queen in her school, she gets scholarship money which will basically aid her in getting to college. So I'm looking forward to diving into this at some point today, and hopefully read as much as I can tomorrow as well. I'm hoping because it's a YA, I should be able to get through it very quickly, but I did say that about the Deck of Omens, and that's probably the one that's taken me the longest so far. So yeah, we will see what happens tonight and how much I will actually get read. It's one that I've had on my shelves a while now, and it's one that I kept saying, oh, I'll get to that, and I just hadn't, which is why I did this like physical TBR challenge for myself, to make myself pick up these different books that I've had on my TBR for a while. Check back in tomorrow, and hopefully I will have like maybe all of it read, but possibly about half of it read, so we will see. It is Sunday evening and I just wanted to quickly wrap up this vlog as it's quite long already and I want to try and get it out today. And I just wanted to do an update on You Should See Me in a Crown because I have not finished this, but I'm at like the very last quarter, so I'm on week 4, which is basically the last little bit of it, and I should definitely most likely finish this tonight at some point. I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's going to be a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the character of Liz, who is the main character. I really like the fact that she is kind of struggling and kind of figuring out some things in this book, such as she has some issues with or problems with anxiety and how she kind of, I guess, deals with that, and then also just her own kind of fears and insecurities around kind of being very openly gay, because while her family and her friends know that she's gay, I guess the school population doesn't know, and she's very afraid of kind of being the centre of attention. And now that she is prom and the type of town that she lives in, she feels like she won't win prom queen basically if she was to come out as gay. And obviously prom is very important because it's the scholarship and she wants to go to college with that money. So I've kind of enjoyed all those kind of dilemmas so far, and I do enjoy the relationship that Liz gets into in this book with another girl, and it's very sweet and it feels very like similar, I guess, and relatable to those type of quick teenage romances that you do get when you're that age. I will say it does happen a little bit quickly. I've seen some people give out that it does happen very quickly. It's almost insta-lovey, and it does happen quick and it does get kind of very dramatic very quickly, but I can also understand some of the dramatics around this relationship as well, and why there are so many ups and downs, because there is the issue of this small town. You know, they're in a school where one of the most popular girls is like kind of very out there racist and probably homophobic as well, yet she kind of gets away with it. There's definitely some parts of the way the school is run that makes me wonder if it's believable. Obviously I've never gone to high school in America. All I know about American high schools is the cliches you see in like TV shows and movies, and this definitely kind of plays on those cliches and those kind of stereotypes that you see, particularly around like popular jocks and the mean girls and, you know, the pretty blonde bimbos and all those kind of girls. And this definitely plays on that, and I think a lot of the characters in this do come across almost like caricatures, and I do wonder about that. And there's part of me that's like, kind of, I'm very much like, thank God I did not go to a school like this, and thank God like in Ireland we don't have things like promposals and stuff like that, because honestly that would be like my living nightmare, would be to live through a promposal. Like I cannot think of anything worse, especially as a teenager who just like doesn't want any attention on them. That would just be a nightmare. So yeah, I'm really glad I never had to go through any of that, and even just like reading about some of the stuff in this book is so like secondhand embarrassment as well. But so far I am really enjoying it, and I've just had a really great reading experience of it so far, and yeah, I'm hoping that I will finish it tonight. So I just wanted to do that quick update now for this book, and yeah, most likely it'll be a 4 out of 5 stars. I will put up my review, my written review of this like within this video, linked down below as soon as I do finish it. And yeah, if you did want to kind of keep an eye out on that, I have my story graph and my Goodreads links down below as well, which you can always see all my reviews because I put them on both of those sites. So yeah. So this is it for this vlog now. I had a really good time vlogging my kind of first February wrap up and doing this kind of rainbow challenge. It was just really fun, and again it got me to read some of the books that have been on my shelves for a while, and yeah, it was just kind of fun being able to pick it by colour as well. Just kind of a fun little thing to it. So leave me any comments down below. I would love to know what you thought of any of these books, if you've read them, if you want to read them, and I'd love to chat. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys again in the next video.